Mr. Levin, can you introduce yourself to us for about 3 minutes? And our Southern California Chair, Ann Crosby, will take it from there.
Of course. Well, I'm Congressman Mike Levin. I represent California's 49th district in Orange and San Diego counties. I was first elected thanks to at least a few of you who worked really, really hard in 2018 on races up and down California. And I'm now in my third term. And it's a district that Darrell Issa represented for 18 years previously. And we were able to flip this district and keep it blue over this last 6-year period. It's a very competitive district. The way we win is we usually win around 55% of the vote in San Diego County. That makes up 2/3 of the district. And then we keep it as close as we can in Orange County. Last time, I think we got around 45% in Orange County. That's the rest of the district, the other third of the district. So add it up. And I think we got 52.3%, won by about 5 points last election in 2022. When the outside forces, the Republican dark money, spent a huge sum, millions and millions of dollars, particularly the big oil companies and the fossil fuel industry, the American Petroleum Institute. That's because I used to be and still am a climate champion. I was in the clean tech world as an environmental attorney, founding a clean energy nonprofit, working for clean tech startup companies and helping to grow that business right here in California to reduce our emissions. I've also, because we're here with the Children's Caucus, I want to just say how grateful I have been to serve with the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, and our great Appropriations Committee ranking member, Rosa DeLauro. And many of you may remember that in 2021, we dramatically reduced child poverty in the United States as part of the American Rescue Plan. Over 2 million children were lifted out of poverty across the U.S. And what we need is to bring back what we call the refundable child tax credit. It would be a huge, huge thing for California and for the rest of the country. My wife and I are very fortunate. We have 2 great kids. They're 12 and 10. Everything I do in Congress, I'm looking at through their eyes, whether it's our work on climate. And we know that when we invest in the future, and specifically when we invest in children, depending on the economic analysis you look at, it is anywhere from a 7-to-1 to a 10-to-1 return on investment. When you look at the social, economic outcomes of those children and what they're able to do in their lives, it is so critically important. The work you're doing and the work we have to continue to do, we need those gavels back to do it. It's been a rough time these last couple of years with Mike Johnson as the speaker. We really have gone from one of the most productive times in the House of Representatives, really in the last several decades, with Speaker Pelosi, where we passed the American Rescue Plan and so many other very, very important pieces of legislation. Now we're in one of the least productive Congresses ever. And despite that, it's still very, very close. Our race is close, up and down in California. All these races are very, very close. So the calls you're going to make, the direct voter contact that you're going to do today is critically important. And we all have to sprint to the finish. I think we're all fired up. We're excited about Kamala Harris as at the top of our ticket. She's going to do a great job, already doing a great job. Tremendous enthusiasm and energy. Now we have to sprint these next 103 days. No wasted time, no underutilized resources, no regrets the day after the election in November. So thank you all so much for what you're doing today, for what you're going to be doing these next 103 days. And let's go win this thing. Thank you all so much for having me.
Well, thank you very much. And Anne, do you have anything to add?
I just want to make sure Mike Levin knows that our Go team is seeing a record number of people signing up to help after the change in our candidate at the top of the ticket. So we're going to be electing all the way down, and that includes you, of course. One of the things you had mentioned, the child tax credit, and we have seen how obstructive the Republicans in Congress have been when we're trying to do things like protect lunches for children during the summer months who are at risk. What things do you think will be happening in Congress that are going to make a difference if we are able to take the Congress back?
Well,
I think it's
yeah.
really an important part of what we're going to be doing in this election cycle.
Thank you so much for that question. You know, I was one of those behind the summer EBT. We were able to get some of what we wanted, not everything. I should mention, I forgot to mention a very important thing, which is that we had that child tax credit in place in 2021. One of the most heartbreaking things that has happened in my 6 years, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, was when Joe Manchin would not allow the vast majority of Democrats to move forward and make that permanent. And so what we have to do is make that refundable child tax credit permanent, and we have to fully fund the summer EBT program. And you know, we're doing better than we were, particularly in California. I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing on the ground and what I'm hearing from our constituents and their families. But it makes a real difference. And you know, the child tax credit we can do with a simple majority. We are able to do it with a 50-vote majority. So that's where you know, even those in the Senate that might not be so open to reforming the filibuster, that you know, precludes our efforts on a lot of different issues. But on things like taxes, spending, the budget, we can do it. So if we get Kamala in there, President Harris, they asked me the other day, they said, what do you think of all these Republicans who are mispronouncing her name on purpose? I said, they'll be able to pronounce President Harris just fine. So when we get President Harris and we get the Senate and we make Hakeem Jeffries the speaker, getting that permanent child tax credit, there's no more Joe Manchin to stand in the way. We're going to get it done.
Thank you. You make our area proud.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I love that line. Yes, indeed. President Harris rolls off the tongue very lovely. And onward.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Levin, for being here. Thank you, Anne, for being here.